putrid smell brings a heavy energy that is present to all people who have been in that place. Creepy stories that occurred in a building that was once a morgue. Welcome to another episode of Chronicles of the Unexplained podcast. Today I'm gonna tell you a true story that my husband experienced years ago in a building that was in the past the Travis County Morgue. Now is the Travis County Sobering Center. He works for a company that is dedicated to the commercial installation of physical security systems, from surveillance cameras, access control doors, badges for employees, etc. His job is to do everything related to the system, programming, and so on. This 3-story building, which is located in downtown Austin, served as a morgue of Travis County from 1977 to 2018. And it was in 2018 when my husband was in the building for the first time, working on a specific project where the former morgue was being remodeled into the sobering center. One day, during the physical installation of the security system, my husband, one of his colleagues, and an elevator technician were working in the building. For those who are wondering what a sobriety center is, it's basically a place where the police take people under a certain state of drunkenness or some type of intoxication. They keep them there to help them return to their state of sobriety. It's neither a prison nor hospital. During the time of the project that my husband was working on, it's important to mention that the building was completely empty while the remodeling was taking place on the site. One day, during the physical installation of the security system, my husband, one of his colleagues, and an elevator technician were working in the building. There was nobody except them there. The place needed to be completely empty to do all the modifications and remodeling activities. It was around 6 p.m. On the first floor, my husband was installing an intrusion motion sensor, while the other two were on the same floor in the elevator area. My husband was alone installing the motion sensor, and it was all quiet since there was no one else with him. My husband was at the entrance of where the bathrooms are going to be. He is working on the installation, when suddenly he hears a loud sound of a door closing abruptly. He turns to see where that sound came from, since he claims to have heard it right behind him, about 3 feet away. He noticed that there is no such door behind him, only a solid wall, but he heard a door shut. His colleague and the elevator technician got there where my husband was and asked him what that sound was and if he was okay. That sound was so loud that he could feel it. My husband told them he didn't know where the sound had come from, only that it was from behind him. Apparently, prior to remodeling the facility, there was a door previously there, as a door motion sensor was still present above where the door had been. It is important to mention, since one of my husband's colleagues had been working for the company many years and had previously serviced the location when it was still the morgue. He stated there was a door there that led to one of the refrigeration rooms where they used to accommodate the corpses when they were received. During the remodeling of the facility, the door obviously had been removed and replaced with a wall, but the door motion sensor that was part of the morgue security system was still present above, where the door had previously been. The three felt uneasy and hurried out of the building as fast as they could. The project of installing the entire security system lasted about 3 to 4 months. There were different situations in that place. Several occasions where they heard the sounds of the wheels of hospital gurneys that were used to transport the bodies, even though no gurneys existed in the building anymore, and again, with the building being unoccupied, there was no one else there who could have interfered or who could have made this type of noise. This installation of the security system was done between 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. since during the morning hours there were other construction trays in the building remodeling. On another occasion, my husband and his coworker were working around 8 or 9 p.m. And just before they were about to retire for the day, the two caught the smell of pine sol, the mopping product that was used in hospitals in the past to clean the floors. Then, as the two of them got this aroma, they went to the area where the cleaning supplies were stored, and the only mop on that floor was there totally dry. They can't explain what happened. There were many situations where they got the smell of cadaver, especially in a certain area near some stairs that led to the second floor and third floors. All this made them feel uncomfortable, and they wanted to leave there as soon as possible, especially when it began to get dark. The company where my husband currently works continues to serve the building as part of contract. When some service is required for repairs, you have to go to the place. Sometimes my husband goes alone, other times with coworkers. On one occasion, there was an incident which required checking archived video. For this, my husband had left instructions on how to check the recordings, videos, etc. He had emphasized to the assistant facilities manager to write down everything well because he wouldn't personally view any archival video under any circumstances again in the future, as he was afraid of seeing what the camera may have captured. She used to say that all that was a lie, that none of that existed. One day, the manager phoned my husband to ask for support. My husband, as many things had happened to him in that building, reminded her what he had said about looking at archival video, since he says that during many tests, he managed to see multiple times in the 3 floors of the building many orbs and was afraid to see something else. The building manager had forgotten how to see video history of previous days, and my husband told her, "I'm going to tell you the steps to be taken by phone." Recently, my husband believes that something happened to her because she never believed other people talking about the unexplained things they had felt or heard. But now, she no longer discredits what people say. She hasn't admitted 100% that something happened, but she no longer says that those were inventions. And here is where the unexplained begins. After around a year of the completion of the project, new additional cameras were required to be installed, and my husband had to go to do the programming of them. The programming was to be done by directly connecting to the security network switch, which is located in the information technology room, which is small, about 4 feet by 6 feet. To access to it, you have to go through the area where the boiler is located. My husband was sitting in broad daylight, working in front of the network rack, with his back turned to the corridor that led to the boiler room, when suddenly he started to feel something very heavy in the environment. He says that he felt very uncomfortable. At the same time, he noticed a putrid smell of cadaver. He started to get chills down his spine, and his hair stood on end. He knows, he senses that something was behind him. For a moment, he became paralyzed with fear because he says that he clearly felt a presence behind him, very close to his neck and over his right shoulder. He says that he felt a terrible fear and that he kept his gaze fixed on his laptop. He didn't dare to look away to any other side other than his computer. He didn't even want to imagine what it could be that was behind him. He repeats to himself again and again, "There is nothing there. There is nothing there. There is nothing there." He tried to ignore what was stalking him. He knew that thing behind him was not of this world and wanted to live there, but fear paralyzed him. He says that he didn't want to show that presence, that he knew he was being stalked. But there came a point that he felt like the presence was about to touch him, and kept repeating to himself, "It's nothing, it's nothing, it's nothing." He says that all that lasted about 8 minutes. He hurried doing the configurations and kept repeating again and again the same thing. Suddenly, everything was normal. He felt that thing was gone. The smell, the heavy environment, all had gone. He felt again that he was alone. He grabbed his laptop, closed it, and left there immediately, not to return. If you liked the episode, please share it with someone you know loves paranormal or unexplained stories. Follow me on different podcast platforms to receive notifications whenever a new episode comes out. Follow me on social media where I share previews of new episodes before they are published. Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube as Unexplained.enigma. Facebook, Chronicles of the Unexplained. Thanks for listening and see you all in the next Unexplained story.